Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Jujutsu Kaisen spoiler review, and boy oh boy do we have a Yuji chapter today. One of the greatest Yuji chapters we may ever get of all time, and it's literally just a giant yap sesh. So without further ado, we'll get right into it. The chapter 265 is going to be the very first chapter not titled The Battle in the Demon-Infested Shinjuku Town or whatever it was called. We had a long stretch of chapters. We finally broke the mold. This chapter is titled That Day. And let's get right into it, guys. Let's not waste any time. So, of course, as stated before, Yuji activated his domain expansion. What does that mean? Well, honestly, in this chapter, it seems like we really don't even find out. Basically, we ended off last chapter with Yuji and Sukuna waking up in a train station. Now, there are plenty of theories. They're waking up in the afterlife. This is hell. They're doing all of these different things. Turns out, this is similar to what we've seen happen when Sukuna fought Jogo, when Sukuna fought Kashimo. Now, there's a couple different translations floating around, so right now it's unclear, but Sukuna mentions this is something that tends to happen at the peak of battle for sorcerers. Now, whether that means that this is something that happens all of the time, or it's something that only happens when he's with Yuji, is unclear with the translation, but it's still interesting to say the least that even Sukuna isn't completely sure what happens here when he's meeting these people in death for a moment. Sukuna wonders if this is his domain, but Yuji's honestly like, hey, look, honestly, I have no idea. I just wanted to talk to you a little bit, which is just crazy. We get one of the most interesting chapters of all time of Yuji literally walking Sukuna through his childhood, slowly but surely telling Sukuna his life story of being born in a certain city, moving away with his grandpa, attending an old friend's funeral, and when he came back to his old hometown, it was a ghost town, and slowly everyone aged out and left. He doesn't know why, but he guess it makes sense. He also explains to Sukuna all about, times when he was a kid playing in the playground and how things have changed since he was a kid. A playground used to be here. They removed the play set, everything like that. And then, in the midst of everything talking, Sukuna is just kind of, literally just humoring Yuji at this point. Sukuna, again, still has no idea what's even going on, so he's like, alright, fuck it, I guess I'll humor you. Yuji picks out a flower. Sukuna corrects him on the flower, which I thought was just beautiful Sukuna lore. Even if Sukuna admits that he really only knows it because he followed Megami's memories and it was actually Megami that was the flower nut. Yuji goes, well, hey, wait a minute. If you're just reading through Megami's memories, wouldn't you already know my whole entire life story by living in my body and going through my memories? This asshole goes, nah, I didn't go through dumb, useless memories like that. Okay, my guy, you have enough time to look at flowers through Megami's, memory and memorize flowers and potentially all the different star constellations and whatever random knowledge Megami's got inside of him. But you can't look at my life story, dick. Whatever. Sukuna's the biggest hater of all time. Something that will go down in literal Jujutsu Kaisen history is literally the two of them going neck and neck, fighting and fishing for crawfish because Yuji's literally teasing Sukuna. This is the most uncle-nephew chapter we've ever gotten and probably will ever get in Jujutsu Kaisen. And I know a lot of people were expecting a big final battle, but the reason why this is like great content and why I genuinely enjoy this is because even as we go through, Yuji talks more about, department stores getting moved around, movie theaters coming in, taking down small businesses, real life, story for sure. Showing Sukuna the countryside and the nature where Yuji used to collect, grasshoppers. He even goes fucking archery shooting. I don't even think that's a correct term, but he goes, arrow shooting with Sukuna. Of course, Sukuna having a fucking fire arrow technique. He obviously washes Yuji in archery, but still the fact that Sukuna and Yuji are basically just casually hanging out, walking through the city, talking to each other, playing fucking games, arguing over crawfish and shit like that is just insane to me. On a roundabout level of these two characters are literal mortal enemies. But Yuji wanted to take this time to show Sukuna everything in his past. He tells Sukuna about Christmas time and hot chocolate, everything about, you know, being a beautiful human. And eventually Sukuna goes, bro, stop. Get to the point already. What are we talking about? And Yuji's like, you know what? You're right. I've showed you everything that I wanted to show you. This makes me feel like this truly is the last time we're going to see Yuji and Sukuna. Walking Sukuna through all of his old memories and just trying to help Sukuna, which Yuji admits, appreciate human life and try to find value in something that Sukuna has shown time and time again he doesn't find value in. We cut back to so many of the people that have died in Yuji's journey. Yuji's talking about he used to think that he understood what he was meant to do and fulfilling his role and helping his friends and dying to save other people from curses was what he was supposed to do. That after he died, he would be satisfied. But after really thinking about it, considering everything that he's learned, he's not really too sure about that. Again, we think more and more about the people that have died and have left an impact on Yuji's life. And ultimately, the conclusion that Yuji's come to out of all of this is that it doesn't matter if you've got memories to remember. It doesn't matter if you spend your days connecting with people and learning about things and all of this stuff. Everything that becomes human, everything that humans spend their days and lives on. Yuji says even without such things, whether you simply eat, take a shit, sleep, exist, if you spend all of your life in bed riddled with an illness, even if you're not connecting with anyone, there's value in your life. There's value even in the tiny fragments of memories that form somewhere in your body. Every human being, whether good or evil, has value. Human beings aren't tools, and you can't determine their roles. You can't tell whether they're good or bad from the start. They can change at any time. But the problem is people like Sukuna, people like Mahito, who we cut to very quickly. It's not the problem of how these people die. It's not the problem of living and dying a good death. None of that matters. What Yuji really realizes is that the people that he just can't forgive, the people that he just can't stand or let exist in general, are people who can't find any value in anything human, anything life related, anything at all. They think it's all worthless and can be taken away, plucked out of the world like nothing. Yuji hates Sukuna. He loathes him. Especially people like Mahito as well, because they don't see any value in life, and he can't stand that. Yuji says, you know what though, he might be wrong. He hopes that by showing Sukuna all of these memories and showing him small details about his life, maybe it's possible Sukuna may be able to find value. Maybe Yuji will show Sukuna something that he's never been shown before. And unfortunately, this just isn't the case. I did a poll in my community when we were reacting to this chapter, and I asked if Sukuna could potentially be redeemed. And a lot of people said yes, a lot of people said no. Mostly resounding no. But I feel like this is one solid big proof of that, where as a last-ditch effort to try and reach out to Sukuna, to try and share his experience with him and see if he can get him to even anything, see some kind of value in any of Yuji's memories. There's nothing. Sukuna admits he doesn't feel anything. Even though he understands all of the points he's trying to make, all of the emotions he's trying to hit, everything, none of it matters to him. It's all pointless. He compares it to Yuji accepting the decline of his hometown. Well, that's probably the case. So what's the big deal? There's nothing more to think about it than that. Yuji admits that he's failed. Just as he thought, he didn't really expect to do anything too crazy. And Sukuna takes this time to talk shit to Yuji. He says, is this really the best you could do? Is this all of your anger, all your hatred? You claim to loathe me. Is this the best you can do? But then Sukuna stops and catches himself for a moment. And he really thinks. He looks at Yuji and he goes, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a fucking minute. Do you feel sorry for me right now? Are you trying to show me sympathy and be nice to me? Do you feel bad for me? And this, of course, pisses Sukuna off, to which Yuji, having one of the coldest, not just looks of the series, but one of the coldest sentences ever. He looks at Sukuna with the deadest eyes and says, "Yeah, I do feel bad for you, Sukuna, but that's because I can kill you anytime I want. Let Fushiguro go, come back to my body, and I won't kill you right now." Which is just crazy. We still don't know what Yuji's domain expansion is, but apparently it's made Yuji confident enough that he can kill Sukuna whenever he wants to. And he's basically giving Sukuna demands. Do this or you die. This is the perfect mirror from all the way back when Sukuna said, "Take this binding vow or I'll kill you." Yuji's now the one calling the shots, which is just fucking beautiful. Of course, this pisses Sukuna off more than anything in the world. Also, My Hero Academia ended. Sorry to My Hero Academia fans. I hope it was a great ending. Much love goes out to you. Sukuna, on the other hand, is super duper pissed. Super duper pissed, poshed, whatever the fuck you could call it. He is angry as hell and says, "You know what? I think you're under a severe misunderstanding, and I'm not just gonna cut you to pieces. I'm gonna kill every single human being in front of you and then kill you." Which is how you know he pissed Sukuna off. Unfortunately, the only thing bad I can say about this chapter is we still don't know what Yuji's domain expansion is. But honestly, the short little reprieve, little palate cleanser chapter of Yuji and Sukuna sharing the closest thing to an uncle-nephew relatable moment that they probably ever will, I think genuinely has a lot of value. I think there was already a lot of stakes behind everything, but I think now the stage for Yuji versus Sukuna, the final battle, is truly set. Whatever happens next chapter, whatever Yuji's domain ends up being, whether Yuji and Sukuna throw hands for the rest of, the series, or, whatever this final battle or final portion ends up being, or however Yuji is able to kill Sukuna, I am so excited to see it. I am so beyond excited to see it. And I guess for a yap session of a chapter, a large amount of dialogue, it was cute finding out a lot about Yuji as a child, finding out a lot about how Yuji views his grandpa as a parent more than his mom and dad. And just the fact that Yuji's domain has made him feel so confident that he can not only feel bad for Sukuna, feel sorry for him, but make demands and basically be the one that's calling the shots, it seems. Baller, shot caller, 20-inch blade Chevy Impala. But yeah, I mean, genuinely insane to me, guys. I hope you hit that like button, subscribe, and thank you all so much for tuning in to another summary of the Jujutsu Kaisen leaks. We don't know how many chapters we got left, but it's really, really wholeheartedly starting to feel like the end. We are in the end game. But anyway, guys, comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about this chapter. Let me know what you guys think Yuji's domain expansion is going to end up being. And tell me, is this the end? Is this the final battle? Or do we still have the merger to worry about? I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, peace.